Good Chodesh Tov, Chodesh Adar. Before we get to the usual Gemara, I just want to share some thoughts I had recently about joy and simcha and the way Tanya writes about it. So recently in Tanya, today we're in chapter 29, but before 29 obviously comes 26, 27, 28, which are discussion on joy. It's, if one's allowed to say that, is one of my favorite chapters. 26, 27, 28, the very, very geschmack chapters about joy. So learning Chitas this couple weeks ago on Perek Chavav, at the beginning, the following thought occurred to me. It's connected to, it's the 26. He opens up with beginning with joy, about how to attain joy, and deals with through 26, 27, 28 deals with how to get rid of that which prevents one from getting joy. First, mundane issues that are troubling him, then thoughts of a person who feels like he's inadequate in the service of Hashem, and that's causing him distress, and then someone who has thoughts of Averis and he feels like he's a failure because thoughts of sin are popping into his mind, and then on two levels, when that happens to him during the workday and then when that happens to him during prayer, and he deals with all of those things in order. But at the beginning, there's an introductory little paragraph about joy in general before he gets into the details of how to deal with it. And that dawned on me, connected to some way. This is my own reading in this chapter, so you can have a look at it, and if you come to different conclusions, by all means. Anyway, so there's the Mishna says, who is rich? The one who is happy with his lot. Now, that statement, there's two things about the statement. First of all, it's not a statement of instruction. It doesn't say what to do to be happy with your lot. It's a description, barometer. How do you know who is wealthy? One is happy with a lot. So then it's like a challenge to the reader. Now go figure out how you can become happy with your lot. What if your lot is terrible? What if it's just not good? What do you do? That's the first thing. And the other thing is, and this I think is the deeper key here, it doesn't say who is rich, the one who is happy from his lot, meaning that which he has in his life makes him happy, and that's why he's wealthy. Yeah. No. It's the one who's happy with his lot, which means irrespective of what your lot happens to be, there's a joy, and that's where the wealth is. The feeling of usher, of wealth, is not because the person derives his happiness from the things he has, but rather with that what he has. Meaning, if a person's happiness comes from the things he has in his life, then if he has more, he's more happy. If he has less, he's less happy. And if he feels like he needs more, deserves more, he's not as happy as he could have been. But if he's happy with what he has, then it's irrespective of what's in there, then presumably, it doesn't say this in the Mishna, but presumably it's because he's acknowledging that Hashem granted him, it's a gift from Hashem, and then whatever he has, he's happy with, because I didn't deserve anything.
That's his portion in life.
Because I didn't deserve anything, and God's granting me, thank you very much. And if it's not the way it's supposed to be, well, it's still what you think I'm supposed to have. You, with a capital Y as in Hashem.
It's his chelik, it's his particular...
Right. This is what Hashem wants for you in life.
Allocation.
And therefore, with whatever it is, good, I'm happy with it. Even if it happens to, God forbid, be, at least in the surface, something negative. That's presumably the way one would read the Mishnah after a little bit of thought. Now this connects, I think, to the introduction of Tanya, which is like this, and this helps us understand this reading in the Mishnah even a little deeper. It's obvious when you think about it, especially if you learn Torah, but it's counterintuitive to common culture, which is, why should you be happy? Meaning, why do I have to be happy? So, common culture would say, what do you mean? Because I'm alive, I deserve to be happy. Why shouldn't I be happy? In other words, because the opposite of happy is misery, therefore I deserve to be happy because misery is worse. If that's the calculation as to why I should be happy, because I'm alive and therefore I'm breathing and therefore I should be happy, then because the happiness centers around the fact that I feel I need happiness, then eventually you're going to be constantly looking to fill what I think I need and want, and it's never going to be enough. Whether you have tons or you have little, it's never going to be enough. So the first thing the Alter Rebbe does when he talks about happiness, without saying this explicitly, is addressing why should you be happy? Like, who cares? So don't be happy. Like, since when are you supposed to be happy? Who said? And what does he say? If someone learns Torah, this is the obvious reason, because Hashem needs you to be happy so you can serve Him better. Pasuk says, serve God with joy, right? And then he goes on to explain why that is. It's not just that God commanded you to be with joy. Okay, so Hashem said put on tefillin, so I'm putting on tefillin, and God said be happy, so I'm being happy. Okay, But it's more than that. The Alter Rebbe goes on to say that you described earlier in chapters that the struggle between the animal soul and the godly soul is like two kings fighting over a city. The city being the body, and the godly soul and animal soul are fighting over dominion. And here he uses a similar parable for two people wrestling. And he says even if one is stronger and the other weaker, but the stronger one today is feeling lazy or feeling sluggish or feeling depressed or down, then the weaker one will still win. And therefore, even if the godly soul is more powerful than the animal soul, because the godly soul has got godliness in it, why shouldn't it be more powerful? But if it's feeling sluggish today, if it's feeling lazy, if it's feeling depressed, it's not going to be able to properly fight. So it's not just another commandment. God says put on tefillin, God says keep Shabbos, God says keep kosher, and he says be happy, serve me happy with joy. But rather, intrinsic to all of the service itself is that you are happy, Because if not, even if you're technically stronger than your animal soul and you could control your inclination, if you're not in a happy mood about it, it's not going to work very well. So if the chapter did not open with the question, but if it did open with the question, why should you be happy? The answer would be because Hashem made you to be happy. So now in the center of it's not just an answer philosophically why you should be happy, but that answer actually is the first step in gaining happiness. Because when the happiness is built on, I'm supposed to be happy because I'm alive, and it's centered on me, inevitably, it's not going to be enough. I didn't want it this way, I wanted it that way, and you're not going to get to the Ezeu Asher Samech B'Chalko. You're not going to get to the one who is rich, the one who's happy with his lot. That'll be somebody who's happy from his lot, and therefore it's never going to be enough. So even if things are not good, then certainly the person's not happy. And if things are terrible, if things are amazing, he's still not going to be happy because there's some other thing or somebody else who has something else.
One wants 100, one's 200, one's 200.
Right, and but it's all predicated on the notion that why am I supposed to be happy? Because I'm supposed to be happy. Because I want to be happy because I need to be happy. And if it's focused on me, then it's not going to work. So in answering the question why you should be happy, it's actually the first step in gaining happiness. In knowing that happiness is not because I have to be happy, but because Hashem wants me to be happy. Now, if that's the question, if that's the case, and my life is focused on what I can do, how I can serve, and what my purpose is, then, first of all, no matter what happens in my life, there's always a purpose I can fulfill. And that's the first thing Alter Rebbe does, and the first problem Alter Rebbe addresses in Tanya that can prevent someone from being happy, which is stress in life. The Alter Rebbe's response there is, even though in other places it says things like it's cleansing for a sin and therefore accept it joyfully, or maybe there's something better is going to come out later, Alter Rebbe does not get into that. That would just state the fact, which is the highest level actually, which is if it's from Hashem, then it's good, period. Without calculation. Because the center is, why am I being happy now? Because Hashem needs me to be happy so I can serve Him better, then this is what Hashem gave me, then this is good. It's the ultimate samech b'chalka, it's the ultimate happy with his lot. Simply because it's my lot. If Hashem, Gamzu L'Tova, yes, actually, it makes that connection to Gamzu L'Tova over Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva, I wasn't going to get into this, but there's two stories in the Gemara about this idea that this too is for the good. One is Rabbi Akiva, who had a chicken, a rooster, and a candle when he was traveling, and the wind came, blew out the candle, and a wild animal came and ate his chicken, and his donkey, I think, died, right? Or ran away. His donkey ran away. And then he says he still has faith that Hashem, whatever Hashem does is for the good. And then later on, he sees that the town nearby was attacked by bandits. And had he had a light, had he had chicken, had he had the rooster, had he had the donkey, it would have made noise, attracted, and they would have attacked him. Okay, so it saved him. One story. The other story is with Nachum Ish Gamzu. Nachum Ish Gamzu was sent on a mission by the Jews to, I believe it was Rome. The leading power at the time, I believe it was in Rome. And they wanted to basically bribe the government to get something out of them. So he came with a sack of gold, and he was robbed, and he was replaced with a sack of sand. And he said, this too is for the good. That's why it's called Nachum Ish Gamzu. Nachum, the man of this too. In other words, this too is for the good. Arrives in Rome, and he hands the sack, and they want to cast them out because it's sand. An angel arrives and says, hey, maybe this angel appears as a human being and tells the king, maybe this is the sand from Abraham. Abraham had the sand when he was fighting the four kings. He threw sand and it turned into arrows. Yeah. Maybe this is the sand. So they picked it up, they threw it, and they tested it. Yes, and it was indeed the sand of Abraham. So that points out that there's a difference in these two stories. What's the difference in the two stories? That points this out in his commentary in a commentary connected to this chapter. in chapter 26 of Tanya. The first story, the events of the candle going out and the donkey running away and the chicken being eaten, those events are negative events. Losing a candle is a bad thing, losing a chicken is a bad thing, and losing a donkey is a bad thing. But it turned out that later it was to his benefit. So it was a negative thing that happens now that eventually serves a better purpose later. Whereas with Nachum Gamzu, replacing diamonds, which are very valuable, with sand from Avraham Avinu, it is in and of itself good. It just wasn't known to Nachum Gamzu yet. The difference being, is it good later, or is it good right now? I just didn't know that was good. And this, the Rebbe says, actually is what the Alter Rebbe is talking about in chapter 26. Not, I'm accepting it that it's not a good thing, but I know that Hashem has my best interest in mind, and later it's going to be a good thing. That's not the Alter Rebbe's objective here in chapter 26. The objective actually is to say, if it's from Hashem, it is good, period. It might be known only to you later how it's good. That maybe, or maybe yes, maybe no, and it's not relevant. That what's relevant is, if it's from Hashem, it's good. And I think it comes back to this central underlying question, why should you be happy? And not as it would be, intuitively, humanly, because I'm alive, so happiness is better than misery, so I'll take happiness. But rather, no, it's nothing to do with me. Hashem needs me to be happy so I can serve Him better. And if that's why I'm looking for happiness, then if it's from Hashem, it's good, period, because it's from Him, and the whole thing is for Him anyway. And like this, going forward, you can see from all the all the things the Alter Rebbe says to avoid, or manners and way in which to avoid things that prevent someone from being happy, and then later chapters in 36 and 34 and 36 and 34, we talked about ways of getting happiness. It's all centered around this: knowing how you fulfill Hashem's purpose, knowing how you are valuable to Hashem's plan, and that in of itself is happiness, because that's the whole point. It all came from that. Yes, which also gets to another element. Yeah. Which gets to another element, which Alter Rebbe deals with in chapters, today's Tanya, 29, and then 30, and then going to 31 also, which is, the Alter Rebbe oftentimes, especially in today's Tanya, in the last few days Tanya, and tomorrow, chapter 29, someone who feels like he can't, someone who is lacking sensation, he's lacking feeling, he feels like emotionally blocked. So even though he's connecting to Hashem intellectually, he's not moved. Not that he's not doing Torah mitzvahs, he's doing Torah mitzvahs, but he's doing it kind of out of rote. Yeah. And even though he's understanding that there should be more, but he can't get it. So what's the Alter Rebbe suggest? The Alter Rebbe says like this: the reason why you're feeling that way is because your animal soul is saying everything's fine. Your animal soul, which dominates emotion, Alter Rebbe discussed this earlier, the animal soul dominates emotion, and the godly soul is primarily in the mind. So the godly souls were functioning properly in the mind, let's say, presumably in this scenario, but the animal soul is dominating the heart, and therefore even the godly soul says, look, there's so much going on, the heart is saying, so what? I'm fine where I am. So the ultimate suggestion basically there is to get to the point where you say, no, things are not okay. So it's almost counterintuitive. You start off first by breaking yourself and saying, no, things are not okay. And then once you got to the point that things are not okay, and you start to get sensation, the sensation being, I'm in a bad state. But once the emotions are open and I feel like I'm not in a good place, then from there you can go right into the place where 1 second, oh look, I have the opportunity to connect to Hashem. Yes, things are not good. That's me, and I'm really distant from Hashem, but here God provided opportunities where I can connect to Him. So he spends a whole chapter describing how everybody should feel like you're extremely far from Hashem. And then by feeling extremely far from Hashem, you feel broken by yourself. And then as soon as you feel broken and the floodgates of emotions come out, now you can say, look at all the opportunities Hashem has to connect, has offered me to connect to Him through Torah, mitzvahs, and whatnot.
That first step is dangerous if it goes too far.
That's right. Which about Alter Rebbe talks about.
Self-prescribed medicine, you can see you go.
No, that's right. Which about Alter Rebbe talks about.
I'm not where that thing is. That's so far from Hashem.
That's right. Which is why the Alter Rebbe gives specific parameters of when it should be done and how it should be done, and done on your own terms, not done with a guide. But here's the key. He gives very specific. He gives very specific guidelines to when to do this. But here's the interesting key. Because the whole objective here is the service of Hashem, so happiness, feeling bitter about yourself, these are all tools in a toolbox. And which tool is best right now to serve Him? If the focus is how I'm feeling, then you're looking to fill yourself up with your lot, and your lot's never big enough, no matter what you do. But if you're looking to serve Hashem, then open your toolbox. What are the tools Hashem gave you to serve Him? Ordinarily, 99.9% of the time, the tool for serving Him properly is happiness. Then take it. Now you can't get it because there's something else in the way. So take the other tool, break it, and then go to the other tool of happiness. Because they're all tools. That's why a lot of these
different medicine. Right?
That's correct. That's a lot of these things. The seemingly opposite feelings can both be used in the right if the overarching that's correct, properly prescribed and properly used at the right time in the right place. Because the overarching objective is I need to serve Hashem best. And if this is preventing me right now, take out that tool. What's preventing me is my feelings of being self-assured in life. Okay, then take out the tool which says no, things are not okay. If what's stopping me is I feel like I need more in my life, take out the tool which says whatever Hashem gives you is good, and so on and so forth. It's all like a set of tools putting the ultimate objective on what Hashem needs from me. And getting back to the beginning, understanding why you should be happy is the first step in getting happiness.
But say like a Rav, that's the job of a Rav, is to guide a person like a Rav,
Certainly.
Is a spiritual doctor. So he advises to get medication for the simcha, maybe it's medication. Because the thing is, if one way to get a challenge, for example, to look forward, like a person's complacent, if the Rav is much more advanced than him, let's say in Limud or in Midos, that already provides an incentive. He wouldn't never fall into complacency. So the Rav is like this, and I always have to work. I have more work to be done.
There's a few things. First of all, the Alter addresses.
It's a good, even in the secular world, say a person wants to play tennis, for example, he plays with his own friends, so I'm better. Let him play with someone who's an expert. He'll be so humiliated. Okay, I'll see how far I am from where.
Stay tuned with the
You can't deny it. There's a game. The balls are flying all over.
Stay tuned with There are two responses to that.
First, it's very good.
They've done that.
It's a very good humiliation.
It's very humbling experience.
Exactly, you can't deny it. It's with your own eyes.
Stay tuned with Bedover. Two things.
Okay.
Number one, the Alter is also addressing even the Rav. Even the Rav.
No,
wait, one second. No, the Alter goes so far as to say even someone who makes a calculation of, this is actually from today's Tanya, if someone makes a calculation and thinks about all of the thoughts he's ever thought for as long as he can remember, and none of them were other than the thoughts of Hashem, and yet because his dreams were not perfect, that alone is enough for him to think. The Alter is getting to even to the most extreme. That's number one.
That's very far from.
And says the Alter.
That's like a Yachid Bedoro.
That's correct. And even Tim the Alter was addressing. That's number one.
Okay, but you have to.
One second. That's number one.
Yeah.
I'm saying the even. The Alter is saying even the even.
Sure.
That's number one. Number two. For a lot of people, they'll say yes. Somebody else is better than tennis, but okay, I'm happy with my level of tennis.
No, you can't be, because
why not?
If you want to develop in your life, you can see. If you want to intellect,
he's very happy with what he is.
No,
he's happy with that level too. Many people are like that.
No. The human nature is that a person wants to.
Not necessarily. Many people are very happy with where they are.
No.
Why not? I'm very happy with my level of tennis. I'm not playing the highest guy.
Only analogy. I'm talking about in Torah, a person wants to progress.
He should, but not necessarily is that always the case, and that's what the Alter was addressing. Someone who should progress,
you have any
but he doesn't feel.
For Torah, I mean, you want to.
There's the point.
A certain level, you want to go farther.
There's the point.
It's the same thing as a person that comes in money. He already wealthy, but he says someone's wealthier than him. The Yetzer says, "I want to become like him." So you keep on going.
And that's exactly what the Alter was addressing.
So
someone who does.
How much more so?
That's what should be happening.
No, if a person has any feeling for Torah whatsoever, you want more, because the same like a person wants more money.
That's correct. And this is exactly the issue that Alter was addressing. Someone who's not feeling that way for Torah. What does he do now? So Baruch Hashem, you don't relate to it, but some other people do.
I can't. Even a secular person wants to become like a great scientist, a great doctor. They're driven. They want to do more because this.
The Mechila, you're right. That's the way a person should feel. The Alter was addressing a specific issue that a specific person might have. So it's true. A person should feel, this is Hashem's Torah, how could you not want more? That's the point you're supposed to be feeling. 1 second, let me finish, please. Allow me to finish. Yeah. That's correct. That's what a person should be feeling. And it's exactly what the Alter was addressing, someone who's lacking that feeling. What did you do now? He's not feeling it. What should you do? So, Baruch Hashem, you don't suffer from that problem, so you don't have to learn those chapters. That's okay. But there are other people who unfortunately do suffer from this problem, and first of all, they've all come to the point of acknowledging it's a beautiful thing. I've seen it many times, where someone feels like, okay, so I'm not a big scholar like everybody else.
No.
Okay.
You do at your own level, of course.
But he doesn't feel like he has to do any more. But he should be motivated to do more, right?
You talk that's also possible. How could a person... I can't imagine a person in life who doesn't want to advance in some way. I mean, either...
So, Baruch Hashem, you don't... Again...
Even the Yetzer, a person wants more money, or he wants a bigger car, a bigger house, whatever.
So, again, Baruch Hashem, you don't feel that way. So, the chapters aren't addressing you. But for, unfortunately, someone who does feel that way, this is what the Alter was addressing. All the point I'm coming back to is, it's okay if you don't feel that way, but this exists.
Like being in cruise control on the highway.
There's many people like that.
But if they see someone better, then don't they want to at least try to improve themselves?
Not necessarily. Some people don't feel that way. That's first of all.
I think when they get like into my generation and everything, I know, like, I think people are like, okay, done my work. I've got enough money to put away. My children are good. My life is good. Everything's good.
So then you now
It's like
work.
there's no.
So
there's
there's
no
no-
real-
So now work for.
Now their main
studying Torah?
avoid is to
Yeah,
make sure
even if they're studying Torah.
they maintain just like
Even if they're studying Torah.
But are they studying Torah?
Yes.
Regular basic an hour?
No,
a day?
I'm
I
not
don't
talking
think
about
so. Yeah, like
No,
that.
even people
I'm
like
talking,
that.
I'm talking secular.
Oh, no.
No, but
For
even
sure,
even
for
people
sure.
are starting to like that. They have their share in the morning, they have their share at night, and they have their minion in the morning, and everything is nice and fine and dandy. Everything's in a perfect neat box. Many people like that.
I don't know.
It's-
The
you shouldn't.
Rav has to kind of like give him a
That's
little
correct.
Bit, a little bit of adrenaline.
I never have to repeat this again and again and again. Baruch Hashem, you don't suffer from that problem. But
Yeah.
the fact is, there are people that do. That's a reality. Number one. Number two. And here's a deeper problem. If the only reason why I'm being motivated because somebody else is better than me, then the out there would say that that's a wrong motivation.
Oh, no.
One second. Let me finish. If the point here is, so if I see somebody else doing better than me, how can I not want to do better? For the out there, that would be like petty.
It is. I agree
Petty.
with you.
So, and therefore, the out there is giving a whole different angle. You know why you should be getting better? Because you're not close enough to Hashem.
Of course, I mean,
And there's the point.
Yeah.
And one second, there's the point. Again, and this circles back to the main point I'm making. All of these things, the joy, the feeling broken within oneself, all of these things are tools for a person to get closer to Hashem. And therefore, a person has to take stock. What are the things preventing me from getting closer? If it's me feeling sluggish, then here's your tools for joy. If what's making me feel disconnected from Hashem is that I feel content in my life, here's your tool, right? And the doctor was looking for a deeper tool than someone else is doing better than me. On the contrary, someone else doing better than me, and I'm going to add this, another thing. Ezo Asher Samech Bechalka, who is happy is the one who's happy with his lot, not from his lot, is even true of spiritual gain.
Of course.
A person who feels like, why am I happy in life? Because I've gained so much spiritually. Then that's not true happiness either. Because even that person, when he sees somebody else who's doing better, is not happy. And that is bad. Because you're supposed to be happy, even when someone's doing better than you. Right? So it's not a question of a competitive game, who's doing better, who's doing not better, and that's my comparative, one second, whether it's physical or spiritual. The truth of the matter is, the question is, what's my relationship with Hashem like? And if my relationship with Hashem is that I'm lazy, or a person's feeling depressed, here are the tools for happiness. If what's preventing me in getting closer to Hashem is I feel blocked and I feel stagnant, then here's the tool here. But all centered around not who's doing better, who's doing worse, but rather how can I get closer to Hashem? Yeah. That's the key here.
I mentioned the argument. We talked about Bali Shema. That's in Kiras Talmid Chacham. That's what Rashi explains it. Kiras Talmid Chacham. Initially, you need a little bit of the Yetzer.
Okay. That's what's taking us to another level.
Afterwards, it's
okay.
not only Yetzer. You have a missing.
We all agree that a person has to serve Hashem with joy, and given that it's the beginning of other, we should include, try to increase in our joy. And
the joy comes from learning.
Since you're talking about,
I have to go, but
sorry,
I have to think about this because I'm not quite getting. I'm seeing two different things. The idea of service and being happy with the privilege to serve. That's my happiness is my intrinsic happiness because Hashem has given me, little Michael, nothing, the privilege of being in His army.
Yeah.
That brings me happiness. There's also soldiers who just serve not out of happiness, just because it's my duty.
Right.
I'll do my job.
Right.
But don't ask me to be happy about it, but I will do my job. I'm committed to the job, but I'm not. But then there's a soldier who serves because, wow, the king gave me the.
Right.
Okay.
And Siddhartha was arguing.
But in terms of being happy with your lot, he was happy. I'm seeing that in a different. I'm not connecting those.
Okay, so I'll tell you where I see them together. Okay. The virtue of the guy who says, "Look at me," the happiness coming from the privilege to serve, right? Why should I get that happiness? Why should I even look for that happiness? So the ultimate answer is because you'll be a better soldier. You'll be a better soldier if you feel happy to serve. Okay. So even the reason why I'm looking for that happiness is not because I want to be happy in my life and therefore, hey, you know what? Here's a good tactic to get me happy, by acknowledging that how lucky I am that Hashem chose me to serve Him. Right? That would be one attitude. If that's the case, then the happiness is predicated on the fact that I need to be happy. Right? That's right. And therefore what I'm looking for is more things to make me happy.
Stimulation, yeah.
So they're different things. One's a spiritual thing and one's I'm looking for physical things, but I'm looking for things to make me happy. Whereas the Alter Rebbe's argument is, you know why you should be happy? Because for the privilege to serve, which is one of the methods of getting happiness in Tanya is the privilege to serve. But why should you be happy? Because you will be a better soldier.
Right.
And for Hashem's sake, you should be happy in that privilege because you'll be a better soldier that way. So even the search for happiness is in and of itself because this is what Hashem needs me to do.
Right. And by extension, you'll be a better everything. A better
Correct.
Father,
and
better,
then
that's
right.
friend, a better
in everything.
Everything.
And then you'll truly be.
Your whole environment will be affected.
And then you'll be happy in your lot.
Right.
Because in my lot, that's where I serve Him.
Right.
This is my lot of service, whatever it happens to be. There's where I think it
Focus is not
comes.
the person, the focus is Hashem.
Hashem.
That's
At the
bit.
primary question, at the first question, why should I be
If
happy?
you call it being happy with your lot of service, that okay,
Yeah,
I get it.
that's-
But
But
it's
I wasn't being happy with. I always looked at that as look, as we know. I mean, you look at where you are materially, whatever, and you say, I'm happy because look at the next guy. He's much. I could be
Right.
like that too. So I'm happy.
Right, I'm making a
Spiritually,
diff-
you're always like the
Yeah.
Rabbi Gibel says, always look up and be like, I'm not so happy because I beat. Okay.
So I'm taking a different look on that.
Okay,
I'm taking a
You're
different look on
taking
that. Yes.
different,
In other words, because I'll tell you why, and that's why I said before that the first thing that Rebbe addresses is what if a person whose lot is terrible? He's at the bottom. He can't find anybody else lower than him. He also has to be happy in his lot. Right? So therefore, the Alter Rebbe's statement to him is, if it's from Hashem, it's good. Period. Where does that come from? It all comes from the first statement, which is, why are you happy? Because Hashem needs you to be happy in the service of Him. So if this is your lot, this is what Hashem gave you, then this is where you're supposed to serve Him. Finished. And there's that. Understand? Not big. You're right. I'm taking a different turn in understanding that. That's why I began with that Mishna.
The much higher majority.
At that point, you're saying, I'm just happy because he took the time to actually create me and put my soul into a body. So I'm just happy with that. You know,
Right.
being
He-
given the
right, but even more than that,
shot
he-
at being in this world
but the
for,
intent-
for that
but
limited
that-
time.
right, but I'm taking
that's
a
like the lowest common denominator.
I'm taking
I
it-
exist. I'm happy.
Right. So I'm taking an even different angle.
Yeah.
In order for me to serve Hashem better, I need to be
That's the
happy.
point. It's not for you, it's for serving Hashem.
In order for me to serve Hashem in order for me to serve Hashem better, I need to be happy. And my entire existence is to serve Him. And therefore, if I need to be happy to serve Him, so be it. I'll be happy to serve Him.
The whole focus is not the person. It's
Correct.
serving Hashem.
And that answers all the things.
Yeah. And the reason why
You're right. I agree that it's a very high, lofty level, but I think this is the key of it. I think this is the key of it.
But even Chacham are not able to serve Hashem. All of them to
Yeah.
serve with that kind of.
So even if a person's not there yet, a person should know of his existence and hopefully try to get there. But I think it's in an interesting way. It's not like a level which you slowly get to. I think it's a mind shift that happens in a second. It's a mind shift of where am I looking for my happiness? From what I have and what I achieved, or from what Hashem needs from me. And it's a 1 second shift. Which is like, but the implementation and implications of that are lifetime and far-reaching. Anyway, a happy Chodesh Adar. Simcha. We'll continue on
Friday.
Friday. I'm coming back to Thursday afternoon. I'm coming back.
Yeah, because Ram said not even every